The Associated Press revealed that back in 2005, Bill Cosby did testify that he purchased Quaaludes with the intention of drugging young women that he wanted to have sex with. Now, that was information that did not change Whoopi Goldberg's support for the comedian. In fact, during a segment about the issue on The View, she said that, well, you know, he hasn't been convicted of anything, so I don't know what to tell you. Well, now there is an alleged victim, Lili Bernard, who has come forward to speak to CNN about what she went through. She's actually very enraged about Whoopi Goldberg's response to the evidence. Let's take a quick look.
People have been coming after me saying they're going to snatch my family, they're going to come up. It's like being Frankenstein. People coming after you with the fire and they're going to burn you. No one here thinks rapists are fun. Nobody here thinks rape or hates women or any of that. So don't come after me like that, because I'm sick of this bull. Here's the bottom line. For me, it's my opinion. And the American courts agree with me, because still, he has not been taken to jail or tried or on anything. So back off me.
So, Lili, final question to you. 60 seconds. What would you say? How would you respond to the defenders of Bill Cosby, to Whoopi Goldberg?
Well, I have utmost respect for Whoopi Goldberg. She's a great comedian. But what I endured with Bill Cosby was no bull by any means. You know, he met with me under the pretense of meeting with producers who would further my career, and he surreptitiously, clandestinely slipped drugs into my blood, and he raped me. It was a very traumatic. I'm a very strong person. You know, I gave birth to 6 children without any pain relief, and yet with this strength, because he incapacitated me, I was not even able to push away the pillow from my face that he was using to silence my screams while he was suffocating me, while he was raping me. And then when he finally lifted the pillow and I could finally gasp for air, I could not even wipe away the tears trickling down my temples that were welling in my ears. And so this is no bull. This is real. This is what I experienced.
Yeah, I mean, come on, 40 people, right? And so the part that drove me crazy about Whoopi Goldberg is the American courts agree with me. No, wait a minute. First of all, when the statute of limitations run out, that doesn't mean that he was innocent. Like, so he might have, let's say it's something else. He mugged you in the streets, but 7 years later, the statute of limitations runs out. He doesn't get to go around and go, ha, see, I didn't mug you 7 years ago. No, but we never got to court because the statute of limitations ran out. And second of all, and this is the part that really enraged me, a lot of the reason that those women did not go into court is because they were bullied and threatened by Cosby. And so Bernard says, the woman you just said that Cosby told her, as far as I'm concerned, Bernard, you're dead. Do you hear me? You're dead, Bernard. You don't exist. I never want to see your face again. Now get the hell out of here. Okay. So now, look, the rapes are horrific enough. I mean, you don't need to add anything to that to get outraged, right? And no, 40 people didn't all make it up. And now we have the sworn testimony from Cosby saying he did buy Quaaludes to drug women. And he's got his excuses. Well, I didn't drug that particular woman with Quaaludes, but you know, it's very clear what's happened, right? But the part, for whatever reason, that I hadn't thought of is this part where not only do you rape them, but then afterwards you have to bully them to make sure they don't come out.
Right.
And so to say that to a woman after you raped her, and the description she had there was unbelievable, right? And it just makes you such a despicable person. And to use your power against the powerless to rape them and then to threaten them like that, like I'm going to ruin your life if you ever tell people that I raped. And then what just boils my blood is all those moralistic speeches that Bill Cosby did. When you add on top of that, oh, you see, it was you didn't have personal responsibility, and you shouldn't have done this and you shouldn't have done that. All those speeches he gave to the black community, like he was better than them, right? Like, it's one thing if you got your stuff in order and you're actually trying to help people and you frame it the right way. It's another thing when you wag your finger and you say, how dare you do that, and pull your pants up. Pull your pants up, look at what he did. He had his pants down as he was raping women, and he went to black people and told them to pull their pants up in public because you could see their underwear a little bit. And meanwhile, he threatens to kill people, whatever he did. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know that he meant that he was physically going to kill her, but he certainly threatened the careers of people.
Yeah.
He did whatever he had to do to make sure the women he raped didn't come forward. And then Whoopi turns around and defends him. Oh, well, you never got him in court. Ha ha. No, it's not ha.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, especially when you consider the statute of limitations. But for all the people that would get angry at the women who came forward decades later, keep in mind that when they were allegedly victims of rape, they were really young and they were very powerless. And they're dealing with someone who was tremendously wealthy, very powerful, very much idolized by America. And so how do you fight against that, especially when he's threatening you and he's going to tear your character apart in the press, in public, whatever it is, right? So if you're coming forward decades later, it might be because you feel empowered enough to actually finally speak out, right? You might feel like, okay, at least I know I can say something now because he can't touch me, he can't harm me. But when you're like someone in your late teens or early 20s and you're a victim of rape and you're fighting against someone like Bill Cosby, I mean, people are going to doubt you and he's going to use every resource he has at his disposal to tear you down.
And he was still living the good life, you know, and he had a couple of shows, if you remember, at the beginning of this scandal. He had a couple of new shows he was going to do. Everything was fine for him. He was going to get away with all of it. I'm so glad he got busted.
So glad.
You know, I mean, really, you think all those women, she made that story up about how she couldn't move and the tear rolled into her ear and she remembers the tears welling up in her ears. You think she made that up? You think that, look, so we got on a debate on this show a couple of weeks ago. It got pretty fiery because I got mad because it was assumed that a woman who accused a guy of rape was just, I felt it was assumed that she was automatically right. Not everybody who accuses someone of rape is right. Sometimes it's not true. That's why you go to court if you can, if you're not bullied into not going into court, et cetera, et cetera. So, but when 40 women come out, all have the same story, is there no bounds of reason where you go, well, maybe at a minimum, I shouldn't say anything about it because it might be true. Well, come on, are there no bounds of reason?
She made the comparison also in that same segment. We didn't show it. She said, well, look at what happened to the Duke lacrosse players, right? They got raked across the coals and they didn't do it. These are not analogous. The Duke lacrosse scandal was one woman accused a bunch of college kids, right? These is 40 women. He admitted it in his own testimony. He had that sealed. He wanted that sealed.
You know, he's guilty, but I would say all those women, the reason they didn't tell the truth earlier is because he was looking for the kind of woman who wasn't going to go to the police afterwards.
He groomed them. He did everything you do.
Yeah, and he searched out the most powerless to do this to.
And he made a mistake when he did it to that woman who wasn't powerless from Temple University, and she sued him in civil court. That's where this testimony comes from.
That's right. Yeah.
She was the head of something at Temple, like the head of the women's athletic or something.
Yes.
So she wasn't just...
So she was willing to fight back.
Yeah.
For all those years, for all those decades, he scoured to see
up-and-coming actresses and...
to see who would be the least willing to, at least able to fight back given their circumstances, right?
Yeah.
Man, I have never had a change of opinion about a person more than Bill Cosby. I mean, I grew up in the 80s. I loved Bill Cosby, right? Loved him. Now, just one of the most despicable guys in America.
This is like Chris Christie swearing off deep frying. I mean, this is really a switch.
This is a switch. Okay. He had to end it on a Chris Christie joke. He just can't help himself, man.